Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So, let's continue with chapter 2, part 2. And the first topic is the psychodynamic approach given by Sigmund Freud. Now, Freud gave three different methods to understand the internal functioning of the mind. And these are free association and dream analysis. Both of these topics we will study in detail in chapter number 5. And also the analysis of errors, which basically includes the mispronunciations and the jokes. Coming on to the levels of consciousness, there are three of them. And the first one is the conscious, which includes the thoughts, feelings and actions in awareness. For example, what is my name, my phone number and my home address. तो ये अगर मुझसे कोई पूछता है तो मुझे एकदम से याद आ जाता है. Coming on to preconscious, it is a mental activity which can be brought to awareness if attended closely. For example, what did I have in breakfast on last Sunday? तो मैं अगर थोड़ा सा याद करने की कोशिश करूँ, थोड़ा सा एफर्ट डालूँ तो मुझे याद आ जाएगा. Coming on to unconscious, it is the mental activity which people are unaware of. For example, the sexual desires which cannot be expressed openly. Now comes the structure of personality consisting of the id, the ego and the superego. Now the first one is the id, which is the child within us, which deals with the immediate gratification or fulfillment of primitive needs, sexual desires as well as aggressive impulses. And it works on the pleasure principle. Now, it is energized by two instinctual forces, that is the life instinct, which is the libido. Now, libido is a direct or an indirect sexual expression, and the death instinct. Now, the thing is that id does not care for moral values and the society. मतलब उसको जब कोई चीज़ चाहिए होती है तो तभी चाहिए होती है, on the spot. Coming on to ego. Now, ego is the adult within us which seeks to satisfy our instinctual needs in accordance with the reality. तो reality को देख के ego हमारी needs को fulfill करता है, and it works on the reality principle, which proves that it is more patient and reasonable than the id. Coming on to superego, it is the guilt, conscience and morality within us. It tells the id and ego whether gratification or fulfillment of needs in a particular instance is ethical, is correct or not. Now we can take the example of a boy who wants to have some ice cream. तो उसका id बोलेगा कि तुम छीन के खा लो आइस क्रीम, पर उसका सुपर ईगो बोलेगा नहीं, अच्छे बच्चे ऐसा नहीं करते, यू शुड नॉट डू दैट. तो ईगो, id और सुपर ईगो के बीच में कॉम्प्रोमाइज लेके आएगा और बोलेगा कि तुम पूछ के खा लो आइस क्रीम. नाउ कम्स द ईगो डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म्स. अब जब हमारी एंग्जाइटी बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाती है तो हमें रियलिटी को समवॉट डिस्टॉर्ट करना पड़ता है, एडिट करना पड़ता है, सो दैट आर लेवल ऑफ एंग्जाइटी रिड्यूसेस, एंड वी कैन डू इट विद द हेल्प ऑफ दीज 5 ईगो डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म्स. एंड द फर्स्ट वन इज़ द रिप्रेशन, जिसमें जो ऐसे थॉट्स और बिहेवियर्स जिनसे एंग्जाइटी होती है उसको अनकॉन्शियस डिसमिस कर देता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हेन अ पर्सन सेज आई डू नॉट नो व्हाई आई डिड दैट, some repressed feeling is expressing itself in this form. Coming on to projection, it involves attributing one's own traits to others. For example, a person who has very strong aggressive tendencies may see other people as acting aggressively towards him or her. Okay, coming on to denial, in this a person totally refuses to accept the reality. For example, a person who has just discovered that he or she is suffering from HIV AIDS, now they may altogether refuse to accept this reality because it is too painful for them, too hard for them to accept it. Coming on to reaction formation, in this we adopt behaviors which are opposite to our true feelings. For example, a person with very strong sexual urges channels his or her energy into religious fervor. And the last one is the rationalization, in which we make unreasonable feelings or behaviors seem reasonable and acceptable. For example, मेरे एक एग्ज़ाम में ज़्यादा अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं आए और उसके बाद मैंने एक बहुत महंगा पेन खरीद लिया, तो I will justify myself by saying that I will be able to do very well in the next test with the help of this pen. And the next topic is the 5-stage theory of personality development, also known as the psychosexual development. And the first stage is the oral stage, in which the mouth is an infant's pleasure-seeking center. That is why we see that all the babies engage in feeding, thumb sucking, biting, and babbling, because all these activities provide them with oral gratification. Now, the thing is that the people's basic feelings about the world are established in this very stage. So, a person who considers the world a bitter place might have had experienced some problem in the oral stage. Coming on to the anal stage, in this the child learns to control the bodily functions of urination as well as defecation. The anal area becomes the focus of certain pleasurable feelings. And this stage also establishes the conflict between the id and the ego, as well as the desire for babyish pleasure and adult controlled behavior. Coming on to the phallic stage, in this the children become aware of their own sexuality as well as the sexual relationship that exists between their parents. Now here the male child experiences the Oedipus complex. Now Oedipus was a Greek king who killed his father and then married his mother. So in the phallic stage, a male child attaches love for the mother, hostility or hatred towards the father, and the consequent fear of punishment or castration by the father. Okay, अब ये Oedipus complex resolve कब होगा? When the male child accepts his father's relationship with the mother and he starts to model his own behavior after the father, so that he can get his mother's affection. And in the same stage itself, the female child experiences the Electra complex. Now, who was Electra? She was a Greek character who induced her brother to kill their mother. Now, in this stage, a female child attaches her love to the father and she tries to symbolically marry him. But when she realizes that this is unlikely to happen and this is not possible at all, so she begins to identify with the mother and she copies her behavior as a means of getting her father's affection. Coming on to the latency stage, in this the child grows physically but the sexual urges are relatively inactive. Okay? क्योंकि इस स्टेज में क्या होता है, बच्चों को बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती है इन द एकेडमिक एज वेल एज द एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर फील्ड्स. So the energy is channeled into achievement related activities. Coming on to the last stage of the psychosexual development, the genital stage. In this, a person attains total maturity in psychosexual development. He or she also learns to deal with the members of the opposite sex in a socially and a sexually mature way. Now the thing is that if the genital stage is characterized with excessive stress and overindulgence, it might lead to fixation. Now, what is fixation? It is the failure of a child to pass successfully through the stage of a psychosexual development. For example, a child who does not pass successfully through the phallic stage fails to resolve the Oedipus complex and may still feel hostile towards the parent of the same sex. Okay, now what is regression? रिग्रेशन क्या होता है? जब किसी भी स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट पे हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स एडिक्वेटली या अच्छे से सॉल्व नहीं हो पाती हैं तो हमें रिग्रेशन हो जाता है. इन दिस अ पर्सन जनरली डिस्प्लेज बिहेवियर्स टिपिकल ऑफ अ लेस मैच्योर स्टेज ऑफ डेवलपमेंट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ पर्सन और अ चाइल्ड हु इज स्टिल इन द लेटेंसी स्टेज माइट स्टिल एंगेज इन thumb sucking. Okay, coming on to the neo-analytic or the post-Freudian approaches. Now, these have been named post-Freudian to differentiate their work from Freud. अब basically इन दोनों में difference क्या था? Freud focused more on the sexual and the aggressive tendencies of the id, whereas the post-Freudian approaches are characterized by the expansion of the concept of ego. And they also emphasize the human qualities of creativity, competence, as well as problem solving. Now, coming on to the first post-Freudian approach, aims and aspirations by Carl Jung. Now, Jung created his own separate theory called the analytical psychology, in which he stated that personality consists of competing forces within a person, which means that I have to compete with my own self and not with others. मुझे खुद से मुकाबला करना है, दूसरों से नहीं. He also said that there exists a collective unconscious consisting of archetypes or primordial images. For example, God and Mother Earth. Now, these archetypes or primordial images, these are not individually acquired, but they are inherited. Which means हमें एक बच्चे को समझाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती God क्या होते हैं, क्योंकि वो inherited है. ये concept already inherited है उसमें. Coming on to the concept of optimism by Karen Horney. Now, she challenged Freud's view of women as inferior. She said that women are more affected by the social as well as the cultural factors rather than by the sexual and the aggressive tendencies, which is the biological factors. Now, she also said that psychological disorders are caused due to disturbed interpersonal relationship during the childhood. Now, what happens is that when the parent's behavior towards a child is indifferent or discouraging, the child feels insecure, and a feeling called basic anxiety results. Okay. Coming on to the concept of lifestyle and social interest by Alfred Adler. Now, he also developed his own separate theory called the individual psychology, in which he stated that the human behavior is purposeful and goal directed. इसका मतलब हम जो भी काम कर रहे हैं, जो भी एक्शन ले रहे हैं, उसका मोटिव यही है कि हमारा गोल फुलफिल हो जाए. Okay, and our personal goals are the sources of our motivation, and these are the ones which provide us with the feeling of security. Okay. He also said that everyone suffers from the inferiority complex, in which we regard ourselves as something lower from others. Okay, and this is very essential to overcome so as to have a very nice personality development. Coming on to the human concerns by Erich Fromm. Now, Erich Fromm, he viewed human beings as the social beings, and that is why he developed his own theory from a social orientation. Okay. He also said that our potential can be realized only from the desire for freedom and striving for justice as well as truth. Coming to the search for identity by Erik Erikson. Now, Erik Erikson stressed very much on the rational conscious ego processes. Okay, and he also gave the concept of identity crisis in the adolescent age, which is very famous. Okay, he also said that development is a lifelong and a dynamic process, और इस process में ego identity को एक बहुत ही important place दी गई. He also said that we must generate for ourselves a central perspective, a higher goal, so as to obtain unity as well as some purpose in life. Now, there are certain criticisms of the psychodynamic theories. First of all, they are largely based on case studies, which means they lack rigorous scientific basis. Okay, and they also use small and atypical individuals as samples. Okay, for making generalizations, which means that a theory which might apply to me may not apply to another person. And the third point is, it is difficult to submit them to scientific testing because the concepts are not properly defined. Also, Freud used male as the prototype of all human personality development. So he overlooked the female experiences, which means he considered them inferior and not important enough. Now, coming on to the behavioral approach. Now, behaviorists, they believe in data that is definable, observable and measurable. मतलब ऐसा data, ऐसा behavior जो दिखता है वो ही वो study करते हैं, उसी को account में लेते हैं, and they don't give importance to the internal dynamics of the behavior which cannot be seen. They also say that behavior is a response to the environment, which is the stimulus. Now comes the definition of personality, which we can learn from the exam point of view. Personality is the response of an individual to the environment. Now, the theories of classical conditioning by Pavlov, instrumental conditioning by Skinner, and observational learning by Bandura, these view learning and maintenance of behavior from different angles, from different perspectives. Coming on to the cultural approach. अब cultural approach में personality को हम समझते हैं in relation, in term with the ecological environment. Okay? और एक ग्रुप का जो इकोनॉमिक मेंटेनेंस सिस्टम होता है उसी की वजह से कल्चरल वेरिएशंस बनते हैं, ओरिजिनेट होते हैं. Okay, now factors like climatic conditions, nature of the terrain, availability of food, these determine what? The economic activities, the settlement patterns, the social structure and the division of labor. For example, the nature of the terrain, whether it's a plain, a plateau or the mountains, it will determine what will be the इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज़ फॉर द रीजन वुड बी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर प्लेन्स हैं तो एग्रीकल्चर होगा, प्लेटोज़ हैं तो माइनिंग होगी, अगर माउंटेन्स हैं तो स्टेप फार्मिंग होगी या इंडस्ट्री लगेगी. नाउ द कल्चरल अप्रोच ऑल्सो सेज कि जो हमारे रिचुअल्स, सेरेमनीज और कल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस होती हैं वही हमारी पर्सनैलिटी को मोल्ड करती हैं, हमारी पर्सनैलिटी को शेप करती हैं. तो जैसा कल्चर होगा वैसी ही पर्सनैलिटी होगी. It also says that people develop behavioral qualities to adapt to the ecological environment. For example, अगर किसी जगह पे बहुत ठंड होगी तो लोग वूलन क्लोथ्स पहनेंगे. तो ये बिहेवियरल क्वालिटी है जो लोगों ने अडॉप्ट की है. Okay, now we will look at the comparison between the children of Birhor society of Jharkhand versus the children of the agricultural societies. अब ये जो बिरहोर सोसाइटी एक नोमैडिक सोसाइटी है where children are given immense freedom from an early age to move into the forests and learn hunting as well as gathering skills. तो यहाँ की जो चाइल्ड सोशलाइजेशन प्रैक्टिसेस होती हैं वो बच्चों को इंडिपेंडेंट बनाने में लगी होती हैं. ओके, उनका बेसिक एम होता है बच्चों को इंडिपेंडेंट बनाना. बट the children of the agricultural societies, from an early age, they are socialized to be obedient to the elders, nurturant to the youngsters, and responsible towards their duties. Coming on to the last approach, the humanistic approach by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. Now Rogers, he proposed the idea of a fully functioning person. और उन्होंने ये बोला कि personality development के पीछे क्या motivation होती है? The feeling of fulfillment or achievement. He believed that human behavior is goal directed and worthwhile. इसका मतलब कि जो भी हम एक्शन करते हैं उसके पीछे मोटिव हमारा यही होता है कि हमारा गोल फुलफिल हो जाए. Okay? He also gave the concept of an ideal self, which is the self that a person would like to become. So when there is a similarity or a correspondence between the real self and the ideal self, a person is happy. But a discrepancy or a difference between the real self and the ideal self results in dissatisfaction and unhappiness. Okay? Rogers viewed personality development as a continuous process which continues lifelong. Okay? And he also said कि सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट को इन्हांस करने के लिए, उसको बढ़ाने के लिए हमें अनकंडीशनल पॉजिटिव रिगार्ड देना पड़ेगा और इसी पे बेस्ड है द क्लाइंट सेंटर्ड थेरेपी. ओके, coming on to Abraham Maslow, he gave the concept of self-actualization, a state in which people have reached their own fullest or their highest potential. Okay? Now Maslow also had an optimistic view of the man who had potentialities of love, joy, and to do creative work. Coming on to the last topic of this video, this is the definition of the healthy person. Now, a healthy person is aware of himself, his feelings, his limitations, his emotions, and his motivations. He experiences here and now, which means he lives in the present and does not live in the past or dwell on the future. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, Part 3.